if you fucking can. Welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for you. We are still in Calgary. We're at our sit that actually ends tomorrow. We have 2 sweet kitties here, and we go tomorrow to a new place with 2 more sweet kitties. I guess she wanted to show you how sweet she is. She loves to climb furniture and me and anything. She's 8, but you'd think she was 2. So if you're watching this by video, you obviously can see this, but if you're listening, the kitty just climbed up the chair. So what if you fucking can? This is something that I will often say to myself when I'm in that space of, I can't, it won't happen, it's too hard, I don't know how, like all of that icky self-talk that doesn't actually create anything. When I remember, so it may not be right away, but I will eventually get to that point that I go, what if I fucking can? It changes the energy. And it doesn't mean, like, let's say you wanted to run a marathon and you've never even ran a kilometer or a mile. Yeah, you maybe don't do it in the next moment, but it opens up that door. It opens it up to the possibilities. When you get out of the I can't, or it won't happen, or it's too hard, or all of that stuff, into what if I fucking can? Now, maybe you don't swear like I do, so what if I can? You could use that instead. It just opens it up. And suddenly what will start to occur is you'll start to become aware of the things that will contribute to you creating or actualizing whatever it is. So if it's the marathon, maybe you come across a running group in your area, or a trainer that does one-to-one training for marathons or stuff like that. Like, it'll just start to occur because you are energetically going in that direction. So think about that for a moment, because what I want you to realize is when you're going in the other direction of, I can't, it'll never happen, I could never run a marathon, I have too much extra weight, all this stuff, guess what you'll become more aware of? All the reasons you can't, all the ways it won't happen, all the stories of people who tried and died, or, I mean, that might be a bit dramatic, but you know what I mean. So be really aware of that. Wherever your energy is, you're going to create more of that. Meaning, if you're in the I can't, you're going to create more of the proof that you can't. If you're in the what if I fucking can, you're going to create way more of that energy. And then also the ways to get you there. And I would say for myself, in all the years that I've been playing with all the tools, so right from, I would say when I took my very first Reiki class in March of 2002, oh my gosh, 21 years ago, and I started reading all sorts of books about energy and creation and manifestation and actualization and all of that. And I really, when I read them, I would have told you what they were saying to me is, sit on the couch, think all the good thoughts, and everything will show up at your door. Okay, I'm again being dramatic, but you get that idea. I really didn't know about the actual piece of action, or probably better, I didn't want to know. So then I would do all the, I'm going to call them the easy things, to create or actualize what I desired, but they wouldn't show up. And then I would go into the wrongness of me, and I must be doing something wrong, and just all the insanity of it, rather than just going, all right, what if I fucking can? And then the next question can be, what action's required here? Now, sometimes the action required is a nap, is going out with friends. It isn't necessarily the logical action. So in terms of, say, the marathon, it isn't necessarily the action of going out and training right away every day, all day. There could be multiple, well, there will be multiple things, of course. So we're recognizing that we always can, and that there's going to be action involved with that. Now, here's the piece that I think is really important for you to be aware of, and I look at this in myself, is if I'm not willing to take the action, what is that? And it's not about judging yourself about that. It's about getting curious. Like, truly, what is that? If you're not willing to take the action, again, let's use the marathon as an example. And just so you know, I'm not I'm not interested in running a marathon. It's an easy example to use here. So if we use that example, okay, I want to run a marathon, but you're not training, you're not talking to, trainers or educating yourself about how you would train or any of that stuff, then what is that? Like, just to get curious, not about judging you, but curious, because is there actually something? Is it a belief that you need to change? Is it a limiting point of view? Is it that you don't really want to run the marathon? Is it that you've got this, I often use the word fantasy, like we've got this fantasy of this thing. And I often talk about it in terms of, like, for myself with coffee shops. I'll go past a coffee shop and I'm like, oh, it'd be so cool to work there. I'd love to spend hours working in a fun, cute little, coffee shop. But then I go to do that and the noise bothers me. And I don't like wearing headphones. So it's a fantasy. It's whatever I've built it up in my head about doing this, working in a coffee shop that isn't actually true for me. Would I like to just sit and people watch? Absolutely. I'm happy to do that there, but to go work there? No. Do client sessions there? How do you do that? Anyway, so you want to look at that. Is the marathon, is the thing you're asking for, is that a fantasy? Is that something that you've decided would mean something about you? You'd be so good, you'd be so great, you'd be amazing, you'd be the one, whatever it is. Yeah, so stop it, if that isn't. So I don't mean if you're not taking action, you need to throw out those asks, but you do want to get curious, because if it is just a fantasy and you've added a bunch of story, throw it out, of course. Now, if it is just some limiting beliefs or some points of views or whatever that are holding you back, cool. Now that gives you a lot of space to play. And one of my favorite tools, and I have shared this for years and years, is, with that, right at the top of a piece of paper. Now, I'm a pen and paper gal, although in the last couple of years I've got more into, can't remember the name of them, but you can like erase off of the page. So it's like a pen and paper, but you don't have, it's not paper. You're not throwing it out. You're just erasing it at the end. It's great. It's like a notebook. Anyway, so you'd write at the top, I can't run a marathon because. Then you want to write at least 10 becauses, probably more. Write down all the becauses. I can't because I have too much extra weight. I can't because I'm too old. I can't because I hate running. I can't because whatever it might be, all those things. And then once you've got them, you want to go through and clear those points of view. So for some people, they like to take a list like that and rip it up as a kind of a symbol to acknowledge they've let go of them. If you use tools from Access Consciousness, the interesting point of view tool, where you would read it, I can't run a marathon because I'm too old. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view. Interesting point of view, I have this point of view, over and over until there's no more point of view. Whatever way you like to get rid of those things, use that on all of those. And then put that list aside for a couple days. Then go back. Any of them that you don't laugh at, you want to clear again. The ones that you do laugh at, you can scratch off. Maybe you've come up with some new ones, and add those, of course. And then just keep doing that until there's none left on there. And then, this is kind of an additional step that has really helped my clients over the years, is now a new piece of paper. I can run a marathon because, and then write down whatever comes up. That's where you got to get there, at least in my experience. I guess if you want to try it, see if you can get there first, that's great. But if you can't, do the I can'ts first, clear those, and then get into the I cans. We're not clearing those. We're just going to start acknowledging, hey, I can, because I do love to run, because I do know how to train, because whatever it is. I mean, whatever yours might be. Start getting excited with that. And then again, going back to, all right, so what action's required? What action is required? So probably not a lot of you are looking to run a marathon. So let's use this in something that probably a lot of people are dealing with right now. You'd like more money. So let's use you'd like an additional $5,000 a month. Let's just use that. You can change that number, whatever you'd like. So then, same idea. I can't create or actualize, whatever the wording you prefer, an additional $5,000 a month because it's too hard, nobody's spending money, nobody wants what I've got. I mean, all the things, whatever comes up, at least 10 of them. Go through and clear them, whatever way you like to clear them. I can create an additional $5,000 a month because I'm brilliant, because I always have my own back, because whatever it is, and get into that energy. Okay, yes, the fuck, I can create an additional $5,000 a month. Yes, I can. Now, be open to the possibilities start showing up. Be open to the ideas, the invites, all of that. Now, I want to say with that, it doesn't mean, let's say you go through that after this, you go through and you do that whole exercise, you do it every couple days, and let's say in a week, you're writing out your I can list, okay? And then you get a phone call and somebody's saying, hey, do you want to come be on this, marketing team for this blah, blah, blah. Don't assume. Don't do the A plus B equals C. I just cleared all my accounts and now I've got I cans and somebody invited me. This must be the answer. Do not do that. Please do not do that, because that's not a question. That's still the conclusion of here's the answer. There is no answer. There's possibilities. There's choices. There's action. So question it. Be in question. Like, hey, what would it be like if I said yes to this? What would my life be like in 10 years, 20 years, 50 years if I said yes to this? Start training yourself to become aware of, I kind of call them like the pulls from the universe. The universe will be pulling you in the way you're asking to be pulled. So let's go back to the first part of my conversation here, right? If you're in the I can't and it won't happen and I can't, all that, the universe will pull you that way. Okay, the universe has no judgment. It's not judging what you're choosing. It's just going along with you. So if you're in the I cans, the universe will pull you that way. So start paying attention to those pulls and being in question about it and following it. But even if let's say somebody does invite you and it does feel like, yes, absolutely. And then you start taking a few actions and it doesn't feel so fun anymore, follow that. When we talk about following the energy, it's never about following it with the first energy that showed up. It's about continuously following the energy, as if by magic. So I would love to invite you guys to come and play. My private sessions are still on sale, depending on when you're watching this, so the link will be above or below. Would love to be working one-on-one with you, my sweet friends. Have a fabulous rest of your week, and I look forward to chatting again next week.